Christopher joins us, and partly sunny tomorrow really means partly sunny, doesn't it?
Yeah, it means partly sunny. That eclipse is going to be a big deal. A lot of people calling in asking questions about it, so we're going to give a little bit of information. Now, folks can go outside. That's not going to be a problem. Parents, supervise your children. Make sure they understand that staring at the sun is a dangerous thing. Sunglasses are not enough, and if you ever do get retina damage, from staring at the sun, it's permanent. You can't fix it with a doctor. Also, supervise them. Best thing to do, and I advise this heavily, is to just tune in, Channel 4, 10:15 tomorrow morning. We're going to start live coverage of the eclipse. We're going to show it to you from how the eclipse appears in Hawaii. We're going to talk with some experts. Channel 4. 10:15 tomorrow morning. Now let's go outside. We'll eclipse this weather right on through until it's done. These animals, see how they keep their heads down? No sunglasses, no looking at the sun? Proper attitude to take. Okay, Colleen, maybe I am stretching it a bit. Numbers, please. 76 for a high today, 63 for our low. Holy mackerel. 103 is our high on this date in 1959. Right now it's 74 degrees, barometer at 29.93 inches, and relative humidity at 67%. Winds are out of the southeast at 9 miles an hour. There's the almanac information. We're still cooler than normal. I expected us to warm up more, but those heavy clouds, that haze just wouldn't burn off. And folks along the coast, you're going to have some problems viewing the eclipse tomorrow. Let's go to the first graphic. You're going to see about this much of the sun blocked out. It's about 68.8% of an eclipse for the Southern California area will be visible. It will begin around 10:12 tomorrow, and the maximum viewing time will be around 11:27 in Southern California. But you want to get away from the coastline because you're going to have cloudy skies, overcast skies. Go into the mountainous areas, into the lower or the high desert. That's not far, about a 30-minute drive inland from the coast, and anywhere around the 2,500-foot area will clear those low-level clouds, and you'll be able to see the eclipse. Again, it starts at around 10:12 tomorrow morning. Moving on with the rest of the forecast. Thunderstorms and lightning strikes were the highlight today around the country. We had them in the New England states, the Mid-Atlantic states, down here in the southeast, and all along the plain states, as a lot of cold air is pushing out of the Rockies, being met with a lot of warm air coming up out of the Gulf. That generates thunderstorms, lightning strikes, and a lot of rain. We're seeing strong winds pushing behind this system, but the reason why it's so foggy in our neck of the woods is the heat in the desert is rising rapidly, and that is drawing in cooler air from the coastline, and that keeps the fog and drags the fog in with it and keeps us overcast and cool. Putting up the West Coast graphic, we have high pressure building right here. The hot air rises, the cooler air along with the fog gets dragged in, making a hazy eclipse forecast for tomorrow. So go inland if you want to see it, and moms, dads, boys and girls, protect yourself, protect your eyes. Putting the maps into motion, the high pressure still clearing out the clouds, but not along the coast. High pressure is weakening, allowing the clouds along the coast to start to sneak in. Air quality is looking like this. We are seeing some unhealthful air throughout all of our valleys. You go down to Hemet, Riverside, Pasadena, and up San Fernando, you're seeing a lot of overcast skies and a lot of haze and a lot of smog. Let's put the Southern California numbers up, and we'll talk about tonight's forecast and what it's going to be like tomorrow. Santa Barbara, 56 degrees, Big Bear, 56 for a low. And then tomorrow, the low desert, going to warm up to 107, mostly clear skies, and that's good news for those folks. 73 for Santa Barbara, good news because they always get that. And here's the forecast for tonight. Overcast, breezy, tomorrow hazy and warm. Here's the 5-day forecast. We will be seeing a chance of thunderstorms kicking in later on towards the weekend. So after the eclipse, you've got some rock and roll in the form of thunder and lightning by Saturday and Sunday. That's the forecast. Remember, Channel 4 tomorrow at 10:15 in the morning, live coverage of the eclipse.
It might be a good little project too. Jess and I were talking about this yesterday, the little shoebox with kids.
Works like a charm every time.
Yeah, and keeps them from looking up.
Perfect.
All right, Christopher. A sea lion got a real Hollywood send-off today on her way back to the ocean. Lily was nursed back to health by Orcas, the organization that helps sea mammals along the coast. Today, actress Andrea Thompson and a film crew from the Baywatch television series showed up to help with this release. Lily spent about 2 months recovering from a respiratory illness, but she also has a habit of returning to civilization. Apparently, she likes people.
A surprise guilty plea in a notorious local murder case. That report is just ahead.
And how to see tomorrow's history-making eclipse. We have a live report, so stay with us.
Good game, good friends. And now that I use Fix-It-In, I can tell the ref what I really think.
Fix-It-In and forget it.
Are you nuts?
Before I switched to Fix-It, Jones Peanut Crunchies only looked delicious.
Fix-It and forget it. Fix-It is the strongest holding denture adhesive you can get. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
With my old adhesive, I'd never make a presentation and drink hot coffee at the same time.
For the strongest hold you can get. Fix-It and forget it.
You get chicken, how about sirloin? Grab all the ribs that you can purloin. Be my little barbecue tonight. Any old time, any old weather, we'll start the fire by rubbing up together. Be my little barbecue tonight.
The Black Angus Barbecue Platter. A great deal of steak, chicken, and baby back ribs. Now only $9.95. But get them while they're hot.
Racine, Wisconsin schoolteacher Mary Waldrip outlines her plan to cut back at the gas pump.
Buy direct, warehouse to you and save with Phil and Jim's Extras. Low price written guarantee, free delivery, installation, and much, much more. Like $150 in rebates on this GE 27-foot no-frost refrigerator with ice and chilled water dispenser in the door and a $75 rebate from GE and $75 more if you're a Southern California Edison customer. That's $150 in rebates. Wow, $150 in rebates.
2 suspected gang members were charged today with murdering a 14-month-old baby girl Sunday in a drive-by shooting that also injured 3 adults. 18-year-old Daryl Whitson and 22-year-old Sean Yoakley appeared in court in Compton late today. Arraignment, however, delayed until later this month. They are being held without bail. The pair was arrested yesterday for the Sunday night drive-by shooting in the Athens Park area. A barrage of bullets hit 4 members of the Jones family as they got out of their car in front of their home. Baby Michelle was killed. Her mother and 2 uncles also hospitalized. Officials say gang fighting in that area is not very unusual.
Thanks to a tip, police have a suspect in the shooting deaths of 2 young men at a sandwich shop in Northridge. A gunman killed both James White and Brian Berry last month following a robbery at a Subway shop. Police arrested former store employee 23-year-old James Robinson, but that's done little to ease the grief left behind.
I thank God that this person is off the streets and will never be able to do this to anyone else.
I also hope that maybe that's preventing some other family from being faced with a situation like this.
The suspect in the slayings is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. Meantime, 2 men pleaded guilty today to murdering a minister in his home in Chatsworth last year. Both face lengthy prison sentences. Just as important, perhaps, the case prompted the district attorney's office to revamp its bail policy. The victim, 54-year-old Carl White, was a black man. Both his killers are white. When the DA originally recommended letting them out on bail, $20,000, a minister's group charged racism. All bail was eventually revoked, and bail policy in general has been tightened.
In Washington today, the U.S. House voted to nix special trade privileges for China, but that is not the final word. Lawmakers are considering another measure to allow China to keep its most favored nation trade status for this year, but would apply conditions for continuing that privilege. The White House wants unrestricted trade status maintained for China and is banking on the Senate for support. And the U.S. today ended 5 years of economic sanctions against South Africa.
That lifting the sanctions at this time is the right thing to do in order to encourage continued change in his country.
President feels South Africa has met all of Congress's legal requirements, including the release of political prisoners. Over the past year, the government has dismantled some of the legal foundations of its system of racial segregation, but critics say the U.S. is taking the pressure off too soon.
But at this point, I'm concerned that the lifting of sanctions prematurely could have catastrophic implications.
There are still no formal negotiations between South Africa's white-ruled government and black leaders, and blacks still cannot vote.
The Yeltsin era began today in the Soviet Republic of Russia. Political maverick Boris Yeltsin was sworn in as president. He's the first popularly elected leader in the 1,000-year history of the republic. Yeltsin quit the Communist Party last year, and his popularity seemed to explode. His often bitter rival, Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev, today pledged his support. In turn, Yeltsin said he will support Gorbachev in a countrywide election if Gorbachev keeps his word to give the republics more power.
Think about this one for a minute. A plan to guarantee you 6 weeks vacation a year. We'll tell you all about it still ahead.
And our live Earthwatch report on tomorrow's eclipse.
Why would a superstar risk his life to perform his own death-defying stunts? On the next Entertainment Tonight, Patrick Swayze tells why in his new movie he tried surfing and even did all his own spectacular skydiving stunts.
You could do anything you want. You could truly fly.
Plus, you may think today's Hollywood pinup girls are shocking, but 50 years ago, starlets were doing the same thing.
The newer mentality sort of lets it all out in front.
The inside stories on Entertainment Tonight. The hottest from Hollywood. Entertainment Tonight at 7.
Yes, it's another Hoover Floor Care Spectacular. The lightweight and powerful Elite Upright is just $69.99 now at Kmart.
So where exactly can you use a Pacific Bell calling card? Well, where are you going? Actually, it's hard to find a place where our calling card isn't welcome. But unlike most calling cards, Pacific Bell's is based on your own familiar phone number. And what could be easier than that? Pacific Bell. We're making things easier. Everywhere.
When your appetite is screaming for chicken and ribs, there's only one place to go. Love's. Because right now, Love's is serving the Chicken and Rib Lunch Lovers Special. Barbecued baby back ribs and chicken, crisp coleslaw, Love's famous barbecued beans, and fresh bread, all for only $4.49.
When you're in love, the whole world's delicious.
It's GMC Truck Summer Show and Sell. We'll show you this summer's big selection of new GMC trucks, like this new SLT Jimmy with standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes and elegant leather trim interior, the sporty Sonoma, Safari with available full-time all-wheel drive, or Sierra with the highest resale value of any full-size pickup. Then we'll sell you with big summer values. GMC Truck Summer Show and Sell. Find out what's happening at your GMC truck dealer today.
Excitement is building for tomorrow's eclipse of the sun. For many people, it is certainly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Our Earthwatch reporter David Garcia is standing by with more on the eclipse and a live report from the Griffith Park Observatory. David?
And Jess, there is a lot of advance interest in advance of the eclipse here at the Griffith Park Observatory. You can see people lined up to see the displays. This cosmic light show of light shows begins tomorrow morning at 10:12. It peaks at 11:27, ends about 11:47. Plenty of time to see this partial eclipse, about a 70% cover. And if you can, try to catch part of this event. Another one like it won't happen until the year 2132. Eclipsomaniacs, as they call themselves, say this will be the Woodstock of astronomy, a total eclipse of the sun. There have been eclipses throughout history, but this one will last up to 7 minutes along a path from Hawaii to Brazil. At Los Angeles International Airport, a crush of eclipse watchers lined up for those last flights to Baja.
It's an opportunity that happens, once in your lifetime. We're taking advantage of it.
Tour groups have cleaned up.
I think people go because they want to feel something that they can't control.
From the casually curious to professional astronomers, it'll be a rare treat and an opportunity for scientific study. For example, a rocket launch to see dust in the solar system.
We may be able to determine the composition of this dust, where it came from, how it develops over time, and that gives us information about how our solar system develops.
For all its good, there is a downside. Don't look directly at the eclipse, even for an instant, even with dark glasses. The naked eye can't tolerate the intensity of the sun's rays.
What's going to happen is that the beams are going to be concentrated into a very fine beam of light, which will actually burn the retina, just like a magnifying glass can turn a piece of newspaper on fire in the sun. So you actually end up burning the retina right in the middle, usually, which is the critical area.
Protecting your eyes is simple. The old pinhole through a box method works just fine. A pinhole in one end, face away from the sun, and see the eclipse projected against the box wall. Or be better yet, perfectly safe, and watch it on television. We're going to pack up here, head higher up into the mountains to the Mount Wilson Observatory, and I will see you live tomorrow morning. I'm David Garcia. Jess, Colleen.
Thank you, David. Our live coverage will begin about 10:15 tomorrow morning. We'll have live coverage from here, from Hawaii, and from David at Griffith Park. No, Mount Wilson Observatory.
Yeah. Here's another story everybody's been waiting to hear about. An initiative proposed for the state's 1992 ballot would really give the working person incentive to do well at work. The measure would guarantee workers 6 weeks vacation every year if they are good citizens who vote, who don't smoke on the job, who don't call in sick too much, and who take public transportation to work. If backers of the measure get enough signatures, it may be on the ballot next June.
And who call their mom every week.
I qualify right away.
Okay. We'll check in with the newsroom now for a quick preview of tonight's Channel 4 News at 6. Keith Morrison.
Well, thank you, Jess. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we have more on the shocking evidence of racism and sexism and violence in the LAPD, evidence contained in transcripts of messages sent by computer from policeman to policeman. Also, a new report says asthma may be more than just an hereditary disease. There's evidence it could be caused by infectious organisms, and it could cause death in people with no previous history of asthma. Worrisome. And then we'll show you the birth of a very big baby that took a team of experts to help deliver. Those are just a few of the stories we'll have, Kelly and I, when we join you right here at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then. Jess, Colleen.
All right, Keith. All right. LA's Olympic Festival is about set to begin, but a lot of people don't seem to know too much about it. So today, Mayor Tom Bradley brought out the heavy artillery. The mayor put on his Terminator shades. He called on tough guy Arnold Schwarzenegger to help him out.
And I'm absolutely convinced that in the 90s, the press will help us also to promote fitness for our children, fitness for our adults, and fitness for our senior citizens. And along with that goes this festival. So I hope that you all are with us, that you help us.
The Olympic Festival is 10 days of serious athletic competition. Opening ceremonies are set for tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium.
Shades are great, but the mayor needs a shirt like Arnold as well. We have sports coming up next. The Raiders are in camp, and the players aren't the only ones getting in shape, and the Rocket is grounded in Toronto.
And it is official. Mike Tyson will fight Evander Holyfield for the heavyweight championship.
The show is with me no matter where you go and how you do it. The show is here, baby.
A small problem. We're going to need you there tonight.
I can get you on the last flight out. You'll be late, but we'll get you there. Everything's confirmed. All that's left is a suite. I hope you don't mind roughing it.
There are two kinds of travelers in the world. Those who deal with the madness, and those who don't have to. Uniqlo, we will change the way you travel.
Hi, do you know me? I'm Mike Sosha, and this is Howard's. Full service before and after the sale, and always great prices.
Catch this Hotpoint value. A Hotpoint family-size frost-free refrigerator teams up with Howard's free delivery and color. Slide into Howard's today and steal this great Hotpoint value after rebate just $319.
And don't forget Howard's revolving charge. I won't leave home plate without it. Howard's, the people-pleasing team since 1946.
You couldn't have dreamed of a better time to save than this. The Mazda Summer Savings Express is here, and the savings are going fast and furious. Mazda Value Packs can save you as much as $2,575. Limited time incentives can save you up to $2,000. But hurry, these savings are meant to move fast. That was fast.
At your local Mazda dealer now.
What would you say if I told you Bob's Original Big Boy Combo and their fresh strawberry pie was now just $3.99?
I would say they will go broke soon.
Am I on TV? What do I look, stupid? No, it's true. The Original Big Boy Burger, golden French fries, a crisp garden salad, and a piece of fresh strawberry pie is just $3.99. Now what would you say?
Is that your van?
Oh, boy. The Original Big Boy Combo and fresh strawberry pie, now only $3.99. Really?
Hi, Mom.
Fred has piped into that sports thing, and he's here to tell us all about it.
All right, well, let me clean my pipes. Here we go.
Big news in college football. The Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl have joined together with the ACC, the Big East, and Notre Dame to make a national title game more feasible. Now, this is a very complicated formula. So complicated, it's beyond all of us. In fact, USC Athletic Director Mike McGee was confused too. All we do know is that the Pac-10, the Big Ten, and the Rose Bowl are not involved in this arrangement, but that doesn't mean a school from one of those conferences can't be number one. It can if it's number one going into the Rose Bowl and wins, or it's number two going into the Rose Bowl and the top-ranked team loses in one of the Alliance Bowls. Unless, of course, the team going into the Rose Bowl is ranked number 3 and the top 2 teams in the Alliance Bowls lose. I hope that clears it up. Right, Mike? Sure. He's got it. He told us today he will comment when he figures it out. It's official now. Mike Tyson will get a chance to reclaim the heavyweight title. Tyson will square off against Evander Holyfield in Las Vegas on November 8th. It's expected to be the highest-grossing fight in the history of boxing. Holyfield guaranteed $30 million. Tyson guaranteed $15 million. But Don King isn't thinking about the money.
And it's just a thrill for me to be on the sideline looking in, because the show is with me no matter where you go and how you do it. The show is here, baby. It's me and Mike Tyson's show. And so this is something that we have to show, that we have to give something back to the community that we have taken so much from. And I thought that after discussing it with Mike, and he had such a noble, to say, mind and frame of mind to do this, we know that we're getting shortchanged economically, but we're being rewarded tremendously with the love and adoration of the fans that we see in the street. When are you going to take on Holyfield? What are you going to do with Holyfield? These things are more gratifying than money.
Absolutely right, because when you make $15 million, you are being shortchanged. The Raiders opened their training camp in Oxnard on Sunday, and a lot of players will have aches and pains as they go through preseason drills. But as Brett Lewis reports, the players aren't the only ones getting into shape.
Training camp is, in one way, a very familiar experience, and yet at the same time, a new beginning. There is the optimism of a team that fell only one game short of the Super Bowl, ready to take the next step.
I think the players understand now what it takes to get back to the same level we were and what it's going to take to take that next step. And they'll come in here. They worked hard during the offseason, just like they did last offseason. They worked hard, and they worked hard this offseason. And they'll come in here, and we'll get going. And I think we're headed in the right direction.
But I want to tell you, it's a tough business, not just on the players, on the coaches. In the offseason, four Raider assistants underwent knee surgery. Otis McKinney blew out his right knee playing basketball.
I've never had anything pop like this before, but just to walk out on the court and just pop on me. And I've been through 9 seasons and never had that happen to me.
Quarterback coach Mike White went under the knife. So did defensive line coach Earl Leggett and running back coach Joe Scannella.
Otis should do better. He's only 31 years old, but he's not keeping up with us. Those older guys are doing better than he is. He had 2, we had 1.
But it's the experience of you older guys, right?
No, we don't plan to do anything else but walk. That's the difference. He's still trying to be an athlete.
But at least these good friends can offer each other emotional support during these trying times.
Both his knees are broke.
Yeah? You know, I sense a lot of love here. In Oxnard, Brett Lewis for Channel 4 Sports.
Absolutely a close group. North of the border, the Rockets' launch into the CFL has been scrubbed, folks. Raheem Ishmael will not play in the Toronto Argonauts season opener tomorrow. The Rocket arrived back in Toronto today. There have been stories that his teammates are upset that he's been in Los Angeles for a card show, a photo shoot, and a guest spot on the Arsenio Hall show while he was nursing his injured quadricep. Ishmael says he doesn't believe those rumors.
Those insinuations, accusations, and unless I was told that face-to-face, I don't give any weight to those. All of the players that I talked to have all been basically, do what it takes to get well. We understand your position. We understand that you're frustrated and you want to get out there, and it's just a matter of time. Don't rush anything that can be taken care of now, and it can prevent prolonging the injury and prolonging not being able to play.
All right, basketball Laker assistant coach Randy Funn signed a new multi-year contract, and the Milwaukee Bucks have signed veteran free agent center Moses Malone. They ran the 5th stage of the Tour de France today, the race marred by a bone-breaking incident involving the current leader, Rolf Sorensen. He's in the yellow jersey, started the day with a 10-second lead over Greg LeMond. But with about 2.5 miles left in the 5th stage, Sorensen was involved in a crash with 5 other riders, hurt his shoulder, and later learned he broke his collarbone. He still finished today's leg by using a teammate's bike. That is Sorensen in the circle as he is riding with one hand while holding his injured shoulder. He finished with a 9-second lead over LeMond, but X-rays confirmed he broke his collarbone. He said he'd pull out of the race. If he does that, Greg LeMond will have a 1-second lead over Ireland's Sean. Okay, that's it for now. See you with more in about a half hour.
Got it.
All right, thank you, Fred. Charges that one of the more popular personalities on television has made a viewer sick, literally. Full explanation coming up.
Also, the folks in Orange County worry that something at work is causing cancer.
Did you know the 605 freeway intersects almost every major east-west freeway in the Southland? Now, why am I telling you this? Because that's all you need to know to find the Norm Reeves Honda Superstore. And you will want to find it when you see their price protection guarantee. In selection, they have 5 acres of Hondas and 2 showrooms. So what are the 3 signs of a great deal? 605 freeway, South Street exit, and the Norm Reeves Honda Superstore in the Cerritos Auto Square.
Miller Genuine Draft Concerts at the Great Theater bring you Engelbert Humperdinck. So I sing you to sleep. Saturday, July 20th. Then Saturday, July 27th. Won't be back for many a day. Harry Belafonte. And Saturday, September 28th. Tom Jones. Reserve seats available at the Great Theater box office. Ticketmasters are charged by phone. Another Nederlander event. Brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Tap into the code.
Most people think all wheat breads are healthy. In reality, some load up on high cholesterol butter. Others leave out healthy fiber, while a few take it, a bit too far. But Millbrook cracked wheat is baked with oat bran and contains no saturated fat or cholesterol. That makes for one healthy wheat bread. So don't settle for less. Get Millbrook cracked wheat, the healthy wheat bread.
How many times have you rounded up the kids to get to a sale and thought this is all that's on sale? Well, come to the National Home Appliance Sale at Sears Brand Central. It's just America's largest appliance sale with virtually every major brand on sale. Oh, save $130 on this huge 22 cubic foot Kenmore with ice and water dispenser. Or get this 20 cubic foot Kenmore top mount with free ice maker for just $629.99. Only at Sears Brand Central. But hurry, or get left out in the cold.
A new nationwide study shows lead poisoning still poses a serious threat to the nation's children. This despite a law Congress enacted 3 years ago calling on states to test school drinking water for the toxic metal. California Congressman Henry Waxman is among the lawmakers determined to expand testing for lead.
In my own state of California, we cannot even say how many schools or daycare centers have been tested for water for lead, and the same is true in many other states.
The failure of the Environmental Protection Agency to set a standard for lead which protects public health gives us no choice but to enact such a standard.
The lawmakers are sponsoring a bill they claim will plug the EPA loopholes.
All science can tell them is that it's a coincidence, an aberration, but that is not good enough for the employees of an office building in Garden Grove where 15 workers have developed cancer. As Vicki Vargas reports, sophisticated tests have turned up nothing, but the company, Pacific Bell, is still looking.
The men and women who work in this Pacific Bell office say they can't see it, they can't smell it, but they know it's there. Workers believe somewhere in this Garden Grove building lies a silent carcinogen that has already struck 15 people. Carol DeMoss worked in the Euclid Avenue building in 1984. Then 2 years ago, she developed breast cancer, underwent chemotherapy, and eventually had a mastectomy.
Do you have any reason to believe that's where your cancer came from?
I don't know. I can't rule it out.
Pacific Bell hired experts to test the water and air in the building. They checked for radon and asbestos, but they claim they never found anything out of the ordinary. Many employees are concerned because today another coworker was scheduled to go to the hospital for breast cancer surgery.
Every time somebody comes up with something that they've either had cancer or tumors, it just makes me more leery and more concerned for myself and other people in my building.
Scientists have still not been able to determine if invisible forces like electromagnetic fields may be responsible. EMFs are emitted by power lines, office equipment, or anything electrical.
Why continue to work in a building like that if you have these concerns?
One of it is faith and hoping that the company knows what they're doing and that it is a safe environment, because it hasn't been proved otherwise. But it's a scary thought.
Officials with Pacific Bell say prior tests have shown that radiation levels inside this building were actually weaker than those in the average home. But tomorrow, scientists will again begin to determine if electromagnetic fields exist and if they are the reason why so many working here have cancer. Vicki Vargas, Channel 4 News, Garden Grove.
We're just getting word of a plane crash. Apparently this one is in Birmingham, Alabama. We're not sure what type of plane, but according to the FAA, at least 18 people have died. That plane apparently crashed into a residential area. We understand that 14 of the people were on the plane, 4 of the people on the ground. Again, a total of 18 people dead from a plane crash in Birmingham, Alabama. And we hope to have more on this in just a few minutes. Jess.
Canadian researchers have found a link between hard-driving type A personalities and high blood pressure. Type A people also tend to have hostile attitudes, talk fast, and to interrupt others. Previous studies have linked these personalities to heart attacks, but not to the increased risk of high blood pressure. A 49-year-old woman who suffered epileptic seizures while watching Entertainment Tonight blames her problems on the voice of Mary Hart. A doctor at Albany Medical College in New York swears it is not a joke. He claims the woman went through 4 years of torture, including headaches, an upset stomach, and mental confusion. And in spite of thorough testing, doctors never did manage to figure out why Mary Hart's voice set off the seizures. But the prescription surely was obvious. Stop watching the show.
8 hospitals are helping the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department guard against hepatitis B. Sheriff's deputies are literally arming themselves against that virus. They began receiving hepatitis B vaccinations today at the orthopedic hospital in Los Angeles. The Sheriff's Department spokesperson says the vaccinations are just a precaution. Doctors have recommended the vaccine for all sheriff's employees because of their high risk of exposure to that virus. Hepatitis B is transmitted primarily through hypodermic needles. The hospitals will give free vaccines over the next few months to hundreds of sheriff's workers, including those on duty in the crime lab, the streets, the courts, and the jail.
It's an all-new Harrison Ford in his newest movie. He talks with David Sheehan about it next.
Over there! Let's go! Hurry! Jody, T.
From Steven Spielberg's classic motion picture comes a breathtaking new ride for the whole family. Have the adventure of your life with E.T. When you ride the movies at Universal Studios Hollywood.
On April 17, 1991, the respected San Francisco Chronicle published an independent evaluation of national weight loss companies. Staff members, including a registered dietitian and public health nutritionist, paid fees and enrolled in the programs. Here's what the Chronicle said about Jenny Craig. The program is tightly organized and covers every component critical to successful weight loss. Jenny Craig offers a wide variety of foods. There's a strong emphasis on exercise beginning the first week. The cost was reasonable. Jenny Craig had a knowledgeable staff, enthusiastic and supportive. Of the leading national programs, Jenny Craig's food rated highest in taste, texture, and appearance. Overall, the program includes all the components that contribute to successful weight loss. Thank you, San Francisco Chronicle. Take advantage of this good news. Join Jenny Craig for a $39.50 service fee, just $39.50. Call 1-800-76-JENNY.
Buy direct, warehouse due and save with Phil and Jim's Extras. Low price written guarantee, free delivery, installation, and much, much more. Like this Whirlpool 20-foot refrigerator with adjustable shelves and ice maker ready with a big plus for Southern California Edison customers. A $75 rebate, now $524.88 after rebate. Or this Whirlpool family-sized washer with 2 automatic cycles and water temperatures built into the timer at $299.86. Servicing what we sell for 38 years.
Harrison Ford has a new movie out. What's interesting about this one, we haven't seen a lot of pre-release fanfare with it.
Not a lot. It's kind of a quiet movie that's coming into town quietly. But the best thing about the movie, it's called Regarding Henry, is an excellent and completely unexpected kind of characterization by Indiana Jones himself, Harrison Ford. It's a role and a movie with a gentle and nice little message about appreciating life and love and family, and Ford obviously cares about it a lot.
pull the file on Briggs versus Gordon.
Oh, what about the Rosenberg
Finish, please. I need that Martinson deposition on my desk by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
At first, his role in Regarding Henry looks a lot like other roles Harrison Ford has played, from witness to presumed innocent. He's a high-powered lawyer who lives to win. But suddenly, his life is totally changed by a random gunshot, leaving him brain damaged and incapacitated.
I'll be your physical therapist for the remainder of the evening.
The movie itself is often slow and very uneventful, but there's an engagingly gentle grace in Ford's performance that he says came from the personal connection he felt to the story.
It had such nice steps to it. The relationships were so interesting to me. Then when I added the layer of the research that I did with people who knew about brain injury, with doctors of all stripes and patients and therapists, I began to feel even more connected.
Ford says he connected most with the character's relationships with his family once he was allowed to go home, and the way he starts seeing the dishonesty in his past.
What we did is paying for our lunch. What we did was wrong. Henry begins to reinvent his life. And when he goes back and sees signs of his former life, he's unhappy with the way he used to conduct his life, makes no effort to go back to that kind of life, but besides which he hasn't the capacities.
Did it!
Are you my mother? I can read!
The role in Regarding Henry is such a departure for Harrison Ford, it almost seems like he's also reinventing himself.
I think there's a reinvention every time I go out. I have the opportunity to reinvent myself. I mean, as much as I'm not a rubber-nosed kind of actor, you know. I mean, I change, I hope, from part to part.
The parts he didn't have to change for were the 3 times he played Indiana Jones.
The character of Indiana Jones, for instance, I felt was big enough to be able to do 3 times. I mean, he was a guy, not only was he bigger than life, but he had some complexity to him. He was a teacher, he was an adventurer, and finally, in the last one, he was a son.
I came here to save you! Oh, yeah?
The Indiana Jones pictures and the Star Wars trilogy alone have made Harrison Ford one of Hollywood's wealthiest actors, but he still refuses to be one of its celebrities.
A celebrity is a construction of fashion, you know? If you are a celebrity, it's given to you by the powers that be, and they take it away when they're done with you. I've never been in fashion, so I haven't been out of fashion.
And speaking of fashion, Regarding Henry may be Harrison Ford's most unfashionable movie, but at a time when action pictures and movie comedies are everywhere, it's also a nice change of pace. And it's kind of a touching picture, by the way.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
All right, David, thanks. That's our news at 5, and we thank you for joining us today.
Kelly and Keith are up next with the Channel 4 News at 6. Have a great evening.
Good night.